There are basic lines of human decency, norms to which society generally agrees and to which we adhere, and we continue to see the Trump presidency eroding these lines. Some of the people marching alongside Nazis in the Klan in Charlottesville were, quote, very fine people, President Trump said, as he drew a line of moral equivalence between white supremacists and those who protested the white supremacists, days after one of those Nazis drove purposefully into a crowd and killed Heather Heyer. Or last fall, after U.S. Senate candidate Roy Moore was credibly accused by women of having sexually abused them when they were in high school, one of the victims as young as 14. Republicans withdrew their support for Roy Moore except for President Trump, who doubled down. To this list of those marching alongside Nazis and those accused of sexually abusing children, the White House has now added someone accused by two ex-wives of spousal abuse. CNN's Caitlin Collins reports that White House officials have been generally aware of the accusations that White House Staff Secretary Rob Porter has beaten his ex-wives. Today, the White House is still standing by Porter, attesting to his character and his excellence. Before we begin today's report, I just wanted to once again note a further erosion of standards for what I thought we'd all agreed was not okay, not acceptable, not moral. White supremacist rallies, child molesters, domestic abusers. Another moment where the White House is sadly no longer considered a place of the highest standards in the land, but rather a place where our national standards are being degraded. This afternoon, White House Staff Secretary Rob Porter resigned over the objections of the White House, following reports of spousal abuse claims by two ex-wives, Colby Holderness and Jennifer Willoughby, who told CNN's MJ Lee that Porter abused them while they were married to him. One of those ex-wives has photographic evidence she says proves her claim, a black eye. Both of these women shared their claims in interviews with the FBI during Porter's background check investigation. Minutes ago, Press Secretary Sarah Sanders continued to stand by Porter, saying that President Trump has, quote, full confidence in his abilities and performance. Earlier, Sanders said Porter was not pressured to resign. In fact, far from it.
Look, I think that was a personal decision that Rob made, and one that he was not pressured to do, but one that he made on his own.
Porter, in a statement today, called the charges against him by his two ex-wives false and vile, but he did not explain how his ex-wife got the black eye or why two ex-wives are accusing him of abusing them. The reports first appeared in the Daily Mail and The Intercept.